Hey folks, Alex here, 9 to 5 to Freedom. In today's video, we're going to talk about our golden goose. That's right. That's what we named Ulty because the promise was 10 cents a week for the rest of our lives, right? Well, let's talk about that. Does it need some life support or is it time to put it to rest? Do we make a mistake buying into this fund? Is this all just a pipe dream? So stick around for that. If you're new to this channel, my name is Alex. I document my journey investing into high yield dividends, swapping them out, buying some new ones, selling some old ones, talking about them, and a way for me to build a machine that one day replace my 9 to 5 income. So if you like this type of content, make sure you subscribe. Let's get started, folks. We don't have all day. First off, okay, we'll start out with this. Hey, thanks a lot for all the new subscribers. We're at over 2,200. They keep coming in. I'm loving the engagement, so thank you for that. If you haven't seen my latest video that I published a couple days ago, 5 lies that they tell you, make sure you check that one out. This is a really good one. Okay, so let's talk about our lovely Ulti. All right, if you're not familiar with Ulti, this is from YieldMax. And it looks like a ski slope, right? So this fund, and I'm sure if you're watching this, you probably already know this, but started at $20. It went down to $5.45. At some point in March, they redid the way they ran the fund. They started to pay weekly, roughly between 9 to 10 cents. I looked at the last few months that we had here, right? So the hope was that they figure this out. And I have a lot of in-depth videos where I get into why is Ulti holding its nav? You can look at is Ulti the golden goose, really. So this is kind of a episode 2 to the golden goose episode. Okay, so we got into this Ulti thing, right? So we were thinking, can this perform, really stay flat, keep its nav up, and give us 86% gains, right? So this is the dividend that it's paying. Now, I did some fun math today, and I was thinking, okay, so let's say if this is true, if it can hold it's now flat if it can pay out 86%. Well, if we go to the simple calculator here, okay, let's say we're going to run this for 2 years and we start out with $200,000. Well, that means in 2 years, your account's going to be up to 691, almost $692,000, okay? That's a lot of money. That's a lot of return. Let's say we run this for 5 years. Well, you would have over $4 million, so you've been very lucky. Let's say if we hold it for 20 years, how much money would we make? Well, we would make at that point $49 billion. Okay, so we'll be up there with all the billionaires. Now, I guess that's a reality check that we all have to do. Can this be sustainable? Can we sustain an 86% return on our investment? Because really that's what distribution rate is, right? No, you can't. And, if you expand this out more, let's say you do it for 30 years, well, yeah, you'd be like a trillionaire at that point. Okay, so I don't think it's possible, but what do I think is possible? Do I think it's possible to run it for 6 months before we get into NAV erosion? And that was my hope. So look, from May, really, let's say you got into this at the beginning of May. You got May, you got June, you got July. We're done with 3 months. It stayed flat for 3 months. If you could have milked 86% for 3 months, let's just do a 86.5 divided by 12. So that would be 7.2% per month is what you'd be making. And 7.2 times 3, you'd make 21.6% in 3 months. So realistically, if you were this guy who got in like right over here somewhere, let's say you got in at around $6. Well, you would have made some premium on the appreciation, but really you would have made 21% on your investment. So if you put in, $100,000 in 3 months, really you would have made 20 grand, which is a lot of money. And I think that's pretty good, right? Now, can this last forever? I think the answer is no. Just mathematically, I think it's really impossible. So, I threw in a lot of money. A lot of people thought I'm kind of crazy. And I actually did something even more crazy yesterday. So yesterday, folks, if you look at the chart here, yesterday was today's X dividend. Yesterday was declaration day, right? It was Wednesday, so we had this big pullback on Wednesday, okay? this happened, we were down to like 618. We're going strong. I thought we were recovering. I really was hoping we would finish Wednesday at like, I don't know, 630 a share or something like that. But then we had this huge drop. So I thought to myself, well, maybe this is a buying opportunity. Okay, so I went in and I sold like my BTCI position in Bitcoin because I already got my dividend last week. So I figured, whatever, I'll shuffle it around. And I got more shares. And then it recovered back up. So I was like sitting pretty. I thought I was a genius. Okay, so then this morning, right? So the stock dropped by the amount of the dividend. Now, what's interesting here? We go to Ulty's website. Okay, this is YieldMax Ulty. They need to tell their intern they have to update this sheet because we never got our declaration of what we're getting. Are we not getting a dividend tomorrow? What's going on? Okay, so I'm assuming it's going to be around 10 cents. Maybe it's 9, whatever. But anyways, so yeah, so that happened. It went down. So, okay, maybe it'll continue to climb up. Well, at this point, we were at 6:20. We're sitting at 12:30 p.m. And then all of a sudden, it just started to ski slope down. And we ended the day at 6:14. Okay, so very sad. And that is the question today. Okay, well, what's going to happen tomorrow? Well, we know for sure. Well, we don't know for sure, but we hope we're going to get our dividend tomorrow, right? So if we get 10 cents a share. Now, folks, I got 40,000 shares of this thing, okay? So don't be alarmed. But I went kind of bullish. I was trying to lower my losses by getting on that dip and getting my dollar cost average down. I was floating around 632 as my average buy price because really when I got into this, we were kind of, this was like a couple weeks ago. Okay, so this was like pre the 640 price. So somewhere around here on Tuesday, July 15th is when I got into it. Now that week was amazing. I should have really sold it if I knew that it was at the peak. But then we started to climb down and we haven't recovered since then. Okay, so that's really the main issue and the big question. When are we going to reach this low? Now, if we look back, and I know I'm kind of hopping around here, folks. If we look back here, what were the lows since this, I don't know, really April, right? So we got the tariff stuff. What were the lows? Well, we had a low right here, 601, May 22nd. We had a low here, 604, 610, 630, 619, 621. And now we're approaching 614. So we're really, what we're getting at is we're very close to this, let's see, what was the lowest one? 614 territory. Yeah, I would say we're close to this June 13th territory, okay? If this is all the pullback we're going to get, and let's say we're going to climb back up and float around 20 cents, 620, I mean, that would be nice if that happens, right? So I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm sitting on a lot of shares. Now, I got to do some math. Did I actually make any money on Ulty? So I got into Ulty. We'll just look at my dividend tracker. If you guys want to know how to build your spreadsheet so you don't have to use 16 calculators on your screen, I have a video where I talk about how to actually have a guide on how to do it, how to make a dividend tracker. It's absolutely free. You just watch this video and that's it. It's completely free for your viewing pleasures. Now, where were we at? Yes, dividend tracker. So I got into this in, let's see here, July. Okay, the week of the 6th of July. Now, I had a small position. That first week, I got $576. The week after, I got $21.73. Last week, I had 30,000 shares last week, so I got $3,087. Okay. Now, what am I going to get tomorrow? Well, I wish I would know, but YieldMax doesn't seem to want to tell me what I'm going to make. So let's see if anybody will tell me. Dividend, if I can spell dividend, announcement, Ulty, something like that. Okay. There's this Market Chameleon. Somebody showed me this website today. I don't know if it's true or not, but they are saying here that we're getting 0.008 cents. Okay. So I have 40,000 shares. I'm just going to fill this in since I don't know what it's going to be. 40,000 shares times 0.1008. So I'm going to get $4,032. Okay. $4,032. Well, what is my total ROI? So if I go and let's say that price is going to stay the same, 614 tomorrow on Friday at the open of the market, and I just execute market order and I just sell my whole position. Right now I have 40,000 shares, folks. If I sell that, what did I make in really 4 weeks, okay? What did I make in 4 weeks? Now, again, I didn't have 40,000 shares every single week. You know, I started kind of small. I built it up. This is where we're at. So it's very easy to calculate that. So we're going to take the sum of this, and my face is in the way, but that's saying $9,868. $9,868 is the dividend that I received. Now, we're going to subtract how much I am down on my position on Ulty. I am down $6,029, folks. I'm going to subtract $6,029. So if I sell it and if the price is 614 at the open tomorrow morning, I would have made $3,839 in the 4 weeks of holding Ulty. Now again, I had smaller positions in the beginning, so it's a little bit hard to calculate that. But yeah, so that, I mean, still I'm in the green. So the question is, okay, how much more can I sustain a loss on Ulty until I'm in the negative? And really, if we, if we take this $3,839 and we divide that by 40,000 shares, that means if we go down another 9.5 cents, I would get into the red category. So if Ulty drops almost another 10 cents, so if we get down to let's see, 604. So if we're down to 604 tomorrow, I'll be at break-even point. So I can get out. I would have wasted 4 weeks of my life. I could have held my money in something better like QDT or XDT or even, I don't know, probably Misty probably did better than Ulti. But yeah, so that's really how I'm going to look at it. Now, Misty went up today, so that's pretty cool. Still at 1950, hasn't recovered its dividend. Anyway, side story. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. That's going to be my decision tomorrow. Do I just, if we're going to continue to drop, do I just get out and not take any losses, or do I hold on to it, right? So that's the big question. Now, obviously it's a lot of risk to hold this many shares. And if we look at the 5-day, we went from 634 down to 614. So about 20 cent down. 1 month chart, we went from 641 down to 614. So where is going to be our bottom? Okay, so that's really the question that's going to be answered, I think, tomorrow and in the way that the market opens up. Okay, let's go look at my portfolio here. All right, so right now I have $191,737. Well, you say, Alex, why is your account so low? Well, one, it's low because of all the red you're seeing, and two, I actually took out $5,000 this week because I needed the money to pay for something. So if I didn't take the money, really I'd be sitting at 196,737. All right, so I'd still be down on my original position since last week. So tomorrow, if we get the dividend, and let's say I'm going to get XDT, QDT, Ulti, and SMCY, hopefully between all of that, I'll get around $5,000. Okay, so I'll be really back to where I was last week. So kind of spun my wheels. Yeah, so that's what's going on with my portfolio. Now I do have some call options here. They're really down, but they're kind of far out, so hopefully they'll recover. Don't worry about that. That's not for you guys. Okay, so really is Ulty on life support? I think tomorrow's gonna tell. Now, let's say tomorrow we're gonna finish, I don't know, at 614. Did these guys publish how much dividend we're getting yet? I'm telling you, they gotta fire their interns. What's going on here? Nope, still not published. Okay, so Ulty stock. Okay, so I think tomorrow we're gonna see what's gonna happen. If it's gonna stay flat, let's say it pulls back up to 520, I'm gonna hold it for another week. If it's gonna come down even more, if we're gonna get down to 610, I don't know. I might just cut my loss and take the gain that I got, and there might be another day for another battle. And really, I don't know. Look at this. We haven't seen a recovery yet. We see a small recovery, and then it just keeps dropping. So I'm not happy about that. And I don't know. What do you guys think in the comments? Am I panicking? Is this just a small price adjustment? Is this going to pick back up, and I should just hold my guns? Now, one thing with holding a lot of margin, folks, I have $117,000 on margin. I can't even talk. One thing with Ulty, it's 50% maintenance. Okay, this is something that you guys need to be aware of. Because I sold off some of my lower maintenance stuff, it actually lowered my buffer. So if you go to balances, as you can see, my buffer is down to like $26,000. So that's not very good. Okay, I like to have this at least at like $60,000. So, and that's really what what sets the margin maintenance. It's Ulty's 50% at Fidelity. Now, I looked at my friends. He has Robinhood, and he's holding some Ulty, and he's actually at 25% at Robinhood. So I'm investigating that. Maybe Robinhood's the answer. I don't know, but that's might be a possibility. So really, I'm down. It feels kind of crummy, but it is what it is, folks. And I think that's just a fluctuation with the market. Now, today, like I said, Ulty, we are down, let's see, 1.29%. Okay, what's QQQ doing? Just get an idea. Okay, QQQ's down 0.5% today. All right, so it's a red day, folks. This tariff stuff, we're not sure what's going to pan out of that. Tomorrow's kind of, the deadline for all that. So I hope we have some sort of recovery. If we get back to, like I said, to 620 a share, I might hold Ulty for another week. If you think I have weak hands, leave a comment below. But that's all I got for today. Sorry to make this a long video. So will our golden goose recover? Who knows? Another week will tell. Thanks for watching, folks. Take care.